Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel, Radiating Beauty with myself, Denise. That's me. I'm Denise, in case you hadn't already been here. Hope you guys were all having a great weekend. The upload of this video will be Sunday, which is May the 7th, I think, something like that. Anyways, you guys, it's been an amazing, fun weekend. I had a long stretch of late shift and call, and then the sun came out, the flowers came up, and it was time to party. And if you follow me on Instagram, which I will plug down below, one of my favorite social media platforms, I went to the Shania Twain concert with my girlfriends, and it was just so much fun. It was a night of just singing and dancing and drinking, and it was lovely. So if I look a little rough, I try to make myself presentable for this video, because this video, if you saw this thumbnail, is all about my review of this lovely little sampler right here. It is the Maison Margiela a Replica perfume sampler that I received in the last Sephora savings event. I said I would do a perfume review, and here it is. Yes, and I'm here to give you my impression of what I think of each one, and I'm going to leave my most favorite scent that I will be purchasing a full-size 100 ml of at the end of this video. So if you're interested in hearing my take on these very uber popular scents, then just keep watching this video if you do like the content, because as you know, it helps the algorithm. And possibly think of subscribing, because this is a channel for the 45 plus working gal that works hard for her money, and I know you do too. So let's get into this video. Okay, so let's start off by talking a little bit about the company Maison Margiela, and it is an actual fashion house, and they created this replica line of perfumes really to kind of create those moments in one's memories, and I kind of like the whole idea that it just transports you to those very memorable moments and scenarios in one's life. Kind of when I think of replica perfumes or replica scents, the first one scent that comes to mind is this one right here. And I'm going to insert a chart notes of these. I'm just going to spray them, so I have cut just cardstock. Replica scents are meant to be unisex. We'll get into which ones I think lean more masculine, more feminine, but let's start off with this uber popular one here. So I'm just going to spray it. These are the bottles. So I'm just going to get a good spray. First of all, the fragrance was released in 2013, and I would have to say, as far as whether it leans masculine or feminine, even though, like I said, you do you wear whatever you want, because some masculine scents just smell amazing on us. But this one definitely smells more masculine than feminine. Of course, I think it would just be a really lovely, kind of seductive scent for men to wear. I could just imagine my husband wearing this, and it's a very strong scent. Its initial sort of smell, you get immediately kind of like a subdued tobacco, whiskey kind of smell to it. It kind of is like very seductive. I would say possibly not a day fragrance, but definitely more evening fragrance. And I would say that even though it's very popular, it's probably not a blind buy for most people, because it is such a strong, you know, leaning masculine scent, but definitely popular. I can see why. I do sort of get the sense of rum / whiskey in there. Thus the name, I think, is very well suited for this scent. I do really like it, and I really appreciate the well-composed dry down of this particular scent. Jazz Club by Replica. This is called Lazy Sunday Morning. All right, so Lazy Sunday Morning. It's definitely a unisex fragrance. I could see men or women wearing this. It's very, very pleasant scent. It's a very pleasant scent to it. It's very nicely composed. It's kind of like very smooth. I do get kind of smell of musk through there, very subdued. I don't like a really heavy musk, but actually, I really like it. It's a very cozy, lazy Sunday morning kind of smell to it for sure. It definitely makes me think of that, just kind of like if it was just, early morning and you're just sitting out and you've got a nice hot beverage in hand. It's very fresh on initial spray, but it's very, very smooth. Actually, I didn't really think I liked it. Now that I smell it, I'm really enjoying it. Lazy Sunday Morning by Replica. Next one that we're going to do is another uber popular. You may have heard of it. It's called By the Fireplace by Replica. So let's give that a spray. That spray was a little haphazard. All right, let me put that back in the little holder. Okay, so By the Fireplace. This is what I want to tell you about this fragrance because I think the initial scent, I get a little bit of cardamom and I definitely get a little bit of maple on the initial note. I definitely, as a Canadian, and trust me, I know maple, but I definitely smell that maple kind of overtone, or should I say undertone, actually. But it's very nice. But what I'm going to say about this perfume is it is not a blind buy. Don't let the uber popular sort of like scent By the Fireplace fool you, because it is tremendously smoky. That kind of dry down base note and what lingers on your skin is incredibly a smoky scent to it. And truly, I don't know how they created it, but it lingers on your skin just like if you were by an open fireplace, fire pit. It has that, to me, it kind of transports me right back to like camping when I was younger, and even when my husband and I were younger, we so enjoyed camping. And probably one of my most favorite activities was building a fire in the fire pit and then just sitting around it, talking to people, listening to music and people bringing out their guitars. My husband's whole family is very, very musical and they're all very talented and they play multiple instruments, but guitar is like the main one. That so reminds me of that moment in time. It's slightly sweet. It has a kind of a vanilla base hint to it. I like it. I like it. I like it more than I thought I would, but just know I think it is a little bit sort of overrated because I don't think it's a blind buy. I think it leans a little more masculine than it does feminine. The initial notes are actually quite strong. And remember, unless you like that kind of very smoky scent, and it's very authentically smoky, you may not like it. So for that reason, I'm going to say it's not a blind buy. You should probably go and smell it at Sephora or wherever you get the Replica fragrances, released in 2020. I'm just going to spray that. Yes. Okay. So this one actually is the initial notes right off the top, and I think this definitely leans more feminine than it would masculine. Again, all of these fragrances, like I said, are unisex, and you do you, whatever fragrance. If you have a favorite Replica fragrance, then that's awesome. But I thought at first that I wouldn't like Bubble Bath at all. I just didn't think, based on its scent profile, that this was really particularly a fragrance for me. It's very ozonic in nature, like aquatic, more ozonic than aquatic. And it has a very initial soapy scent to it, kind of like reminds me of my aunt on my dad's side. And she was a world traveler when she was younger. And her favorite thing was milled French soaps. And she used to get the most beautiful designer soaps. And this one kind of has that kind of, those small, beautifully wrapped soaps, milled soaps that you get in France. It reminds me of like a drawer or a bowl or something of those scents initially. Very cozy scent. It's not off-putting at all. Um, Almost like with top notes of linen. Very, very cozy, very ozonic, but probably not one of my favorites in the dry down because of that soapiness. But I think, again, not a blind buy. I'm going to say definitely not a blind buy, but I think definitely leaning more feminine than masculine for sure. It is cozy though. It is a cozy, nice scent. So if that's kind of like top notes of like linen and that soapiness kind of appeal to you, then you might really like Bubble Bath by Replica. Sailing Day, that was released in 2017. So I'm going to spray that. Now, that had a nice spray. Initial scent top note right off the top. And this is definitely a unisex fragrance, but it doesn't lean masculine or feminine. In fact, I think it's a true unisex fragrance. It's very aquatic. Like immediate initial impression is like really like I'm on a sailboat on the ocean. And it's very fresh. I really like this one. It is like a little seaweed, a little salt, a little kind of ocean spray as you open your mainsail. It's not a blind buy either, because I think, it is got those sort of like fresh tones, but it's so nicely composed, nicely blended with no one particular scent again in the scent profile. That's really just kind of coming to the front. But yeah, would I say it's truly unisex? Maybe in the dry down, it's a little bit more masculine than it is feminine, but I really like it. I love the initial note of this, which is just fresh, like ocean water, seaweed, salty. If you like that, you might really like Sailing Day by Replica. All right, on to the next scent. This is the scent Beach Walk. So why I smelled it before I sprayed it. Okay, let me just spray that. Beach Walk. So my initial impression on the top notes really is like coconut milk, like definitely sunscreen. I think that it's not a terribly unique fragrance. I have, gone to fragrance counters before with very similar scents. I think it's nice. I think because Beach Walk is such an uber popular, it's one of those along with Jazz Club and By the Fireplace. Very sweet scent. I can't really see it being, it's leaning more feminine than masculine. Although I suppose in the right setting, it could be definitely a man could wear this for sure. But I think it's rather overrated for how uber popular it is when, you search out replica scents by popularity. I think Beach Walk is right up there. Does it smell like I'm kind of like sandy, salty sunshine? It smells more like coconut milk, sunscreen. It is kind of smooth. It's blended fairly well, I think, but it's definitely, I think, an overrated fragrance. Could you purchase this on a blind buy? You could, but I think you might be slightly disappointed because, like I said, I don't really see this as a very original scent. This is my impression of Beach Walk by Replica. Is, I think, aptly named Springtime in the Park. I mean, more timely named, I should say. Let's give that a spray. Oops, this spray. There we go. Springtime in the Park. What do I think of it? It's quite nice. On the initial spray, the top notes, it's still a little soapy, similar to Bubble Bath, but not as soapy. Definitely more subdued soapiness. A little sweet, a little more woodsy. There's a definite woodsiness to it, thus springtime in the park. And I think it definitely leans a little bit more feminine. I think this would appeal to people that might not like Bubble Bath as much because it's definitely more smooth, more composed. All the notes seem to just kind of blend together with kind of like an undertone of that woodsiness. Blind buy? No, I wouldn't purchase this as a blind buy either. I think a lot of these scents really have to be experienced firsthand for the most part, but I like this one. I would definitely put this one in one of my top 5s of this fragrance sampler. It's fresh, but it's not too fresh and has that woodsiness to it, which I quite enjoy. It's a very cozy fragrance, definitely leaning more feminine. Springtime in the Park by Replica. Is Autumn Vibes. So I needlessly have to tell you that when I think of autumn, I think of all of these really gourmand, deep, spicy notes in here. This one was rather surprising. Let me spray Autumn Vibes. All right, here we go. So the initial scent of Autumn Vibes, first of all, definitely a unisex fragrance. I think leaning perhaps a little bit more masculine than it would be feminine, but needless to say, once again, the disclaimer, they're all unisex fragrance. But it's a very surprising scent given its name, Autumn Vibes. And I think for the most part, most of the Replica scents have really kind of fallen in line with the names that were given. This one is different. This one does not initially evoke that memory, that moment of walking, in the woods during autumn or walking alongside the woods. It is outdoor for sure. I certainly get grassy, kind of leafy notes to it. Definitely woody, so I guess that would be the Autumn Vibes, but it doesn't have any of those classic kind of autumn gourmand spiciness to them, like I would think, It doesn't have any of those, like there's no pumpkin spice latte in here. There is, none of those initial notes that one would think, and for that reason, this is also not a blind buy. This is unique, if you will. This is Autumn Vibes by Replica. This is When the Rain Stops. Also a unisex fragrance. Let's spray that. All right. The initial scent makes me think it's very aquatic. Right off the bat, it's fresh. It's kind of crisp. It does have a slightly minty, not spearminty, not peppermint. There is a slight mintness to it. I think it's definitely more leaning masculine than it is feminine, but again, unisex. I like it. I like the aquaticness of this. I don't know if I like it more than Sailing Day, but I like the smooth, aquatic overall smell. And like I said, it's fresh and crisp, which is generally a scent that I like. Sadly, though, When the Rain Stops is not a long-lasting scent by Replica, and for that reason, I think that perhaps one might think about purchasing the full bottle unless you're just completely, fall in love with that overall scent profile. It's a nice scent. Is it in my top 5? Might be. It might be on the number 5 position in that one. But definitely, because it's not long-lasting, I would say don't waste your money on purchasing a full-size. I even went off camera and zhuzhed my hair for this one. I love this one. So the last scent in the scent profile, and by far my most favorite, this one, the one that I left the best for last. This is Under the Lemon Tree by Replica. You guys, I don't know what to say about this scent, but it is literally everything to me. It is soft, it's beautifully composed. It is definitely a unisex fragrance. I don't think it leans any more masculine than it does feminine. It is fresh. It immediately, to me, gives me fresh green tea vibes, which is right up my alley for scent profile. It has a beautiful, realistic citrus smell, which ironically does not have lemons anywhere in that scent profile, which I think is most unusual because the combination of those scents definitely gives you that citrus note. But a citrus note that's so realistic, that's not that synthetic, horrible sort of smell of citrus. And that underlying green tea fragrance to it, just in the dry down, just makes me love this scent. And it's for that reason that I'm putting it on my wrist today, because I do not have any scent. It's the reason why it's the most used of all of these, and will be the one that I purchased, the 100 ml. It's just so beautiful in how fresh, green tea, earthy but citrus overtones, so realistic, so lovely, by Replica, if you're like me. Is it a blind buy? Absolutely not. You need to smell this, because it's not going to be that. I have other sort of fresh citrus scents that are very synthetic, and to me this feels so authentic and so realistic. It's why I must purchase the 100 ml. Like, I cannot wait to get it. I will have to wait till my anniversary, but I adore this fragrance. I don't know if it's going to be my signature, because I think it certainly leans kind of more spring and summer, but I really just enjoy it. I enjoy it so much in the composition of this overall fragrance. I hope that you really enjoyed this overall scent review for you of these Replica scents that I received in this wonderful sampler that I got. I think it is a great way to kind of experience and discover and wear those scents and see if they're right for you. That's why perfumes are so fun, as they appeal to different people for various reasons. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I always say, as you go forward in the week that is ahead, always just remember this: start your day off by just radiating a little beauty from the inside out. From me to you, thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. You know I never take it for granted, and I always appreciate it. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.